What's going on, everybody? It's Aaron here with High Five Guys, and it's time to do our next car video on my Supra. My car parts for it finally came in, so now we're gonna unbox them and do a little bit of a build-up on this car. And I got all my parts lined up. Now, it's not a whole lot, but the first thing that you'll notice is the metal head gasket from Cometic. Now, if you're going to be running more boost on your Mark III or upgrade the performance seriously, you should probably think about getting a metal head gasket, or at the very least tighten down your head to where it's actually at proper specs, because from the factory the heads were only torqued down to about 46 pounds when in reality they needed closer to 80 pounds. We've also got our ARP bolts and studs. That's also for the head gasket there. In here, let's see, what do we have? We've got, that looks like my Driftmotion upgraded oil pump. Now, I haven't had this problem with mine. I've been getting good oil pressure, but one of the other bulletproofing ideas that I've been told for Mark III Supras is, well, they don't always have the best oil pressure at idle. And one of the ways to solve that is either shim the stock one or buy an upgraded one, which I did from Driftmotion.com, which if you got a Mark III Supra, that is an excellent website to check out. They've got all kinds of parts for your car, replacement parts or performance, whatever you're looking for, really, they've got it. Alright, so in here is my downpipe. This is a nice 3-inch design. Get it off Driftmotion.com. There's my hardware to install it. That looks really nice. That's going to be helpful. This one also comes with the elbow welded to the downpipe. That way you don't have to have separate parts. Because normally on these Mark IIIs, they've got a really restrictive elbow on there. And this one should really open it up and allow it to like remove some of the back pressure. Now over here we've got our Apexi power intake dual funnel air cleaner. And it's a fancy name, but really it's just a cone filter to try and replace the really weird style of air intake that's on the turbo Supras. They have this pod, and the first time I changed the air filter on there, I was like, man, I've never seen one of these before. It's just an odd design, and this will really help it breathe just a little bit better because we're going to be trying to get more airflow. I've already done a fuel system upgrade. Unfortunately, I didn't do any videos for that. So now that we have the ability to send it more fuel, now I'm going to make it capable of breathing and then expelling more air. Now this box, this is the fun one. This is my new turbo. So let's go ahead and get her open. Alright, so here we got our, our turbo is a Toyota CT26, which I know what you're thinking is just a normal turbo for this car, right? And you're kind of right. So the CT26 is the factory turbo, but the difference here is that the internals have been replaced with Garrett internals, and it's got a 57 trim compressor wheel instead of the original 46 trim. The CT26s are already popular for how low they build their boost. So from the factory, these things spool up already by like 2300 RPM. So right now, mine's making 10 PSI. Actually, this actuator right here for the wastegate, I'm gonna have to change that out because this one is a stock 8-pound actuator, and I need to put my 10-pound one on there, so that way I'm not going backwards. One of the funny things I noticed is whenever I was looking at my Apexi intake here, it's all in Japanese. Or is that Chinese? I don't even know. Probably Japanese, right? Made in Korea. Korean? I have no idea. It's not in English. So here we are under the hood now that everything's been put on the car. See the Apexi air intake right there. And what that does is basically it just adds this this little bend right here, this adapter, so that you can run the Apexi cone filters. I went ahead and replaced almost all the hoses in the engine bay now with silicone because the old rubber hoses, even though this is a fairly low mileage car, they were getting old and they were pretty rock hard and starting to crack in some places, so it was time. Other than that, the engine bay is pretty much stock. So the next thing that you'll notice, you can see it, is that I've got my downpipe on, and it's got the elbow welded in so that it's all one piece. I'll go under the car and see if we could see a little bit better. Alright, you can see the stainless 3-inch downpipe coming down right there. And then had it wrapped because the cable for the speedometer runs right through there, and it was getting really hot, so I didn't want that to weaken that cable. And maybe it was designed to get hot, but just for extra safety, went ahead and wrapped it. That's pretty much it for the car. The new turbo looks exactly the same. It is just a CT26 with a larger Garrett internals, the 57 trim compressor wheel, but from the outside it looks exactly the same. We are back in the Supra, and with all that put together, this should be a very solid, good running car now. Like I said before, I'm still not running a whole lot of boost. I went ahead and took the 10 PSI spring out of the turbo that was previously on the car and put it on this one because it was set at a factory 7.5 or 8 PSI, whichever it is. So still only running 10 PSI on my boost, which is a little overstock, but not enough to get into fuel cut, which means that it still drives well. And I hadn't had a chance to drive it a whole lot, so this is one of my first drives. I just got the car back yesterday, and it was very congested on the street, so there's a lot of traffic. So today is one of my first test drives since I've had all the work done to it. Not a whole lot of noticeable power gain. The throttle response seems to have improved a little bit, and it seems maybe slightly peppier once you get into the boost, but other than that, the only real noticeable difference is the cleaned up airbox and the nicer downpipe. It should flow better and produce a little bit more horsepower, but probably not a whole lot. And I can hear a slight difference in the tone of the exhaust, so it does have a little bit deeper tone now to it compared to before putting these new parts on. I'm about to get on the highway here, so I'll be able to step on it a little bit. Picked up a little bit of speed. I remember thinking before that I was sort of underwhelmed by it. It's not a huge step up in performance, but it's definitely noticeable once it does get into its boost. And you can actually hear the turbo now a lot better than you used to be able to. Not loud, but I can hear it. Although I don't have any music on right now, and usually I'm listening to music, so that could be the whole reason. Oh yeah. Damn. No, it's running a lot better than it used to. With this car. Alright guys, well I think that's gonna do it for this drive in the Supra. It's lot of noticeable like off idle power, but once it reaches around 2,500 RPMs, that turbo kicks in, and then it starts picking up a lot faster than it used to. We gotta get over here. Alright, but anyway, I'm Aaron with High Five Guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these kind of videos, please consider subscribing because it helps us out, and hit the like button on the video.